Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Whiteboard. My name is Harshit, and I'm the Director of Business Alliances at White Labs. We are a digital agency specializing in SaaS and e-commerce business marketing. And my today's special guest is Anna, Client Engagement and Partnership Manager of SqlDBM, a SaaS solution that helps developing databases online without writing a single line of code. A big welcome to you, Anna, and I'm so happy to have you with me today.
Yeah, thank you. I'm excited to be here too.
Okay. I want to start talking about your journey. Would love to know about your professional journey so far and how you got introduced to your current role, please.
Yeah, for sure. My whole career is spanning around B2B offerings, specifically in software as a service space. SqlDBM was just a natural progression of things that I've done before. I previously was with a connector, API connector company for e-commerce storefronts like Shopify, Amazon, BigCommerce, etc. You name it. Basically sending data from e-commerce stores over to Oracle NetSuite. That company was called Far App, and it was actually acquired by NetSuite at some point because of how good of a job they were doing. And yeah, and then since then I found myself more towards a data architecture part of the game, and SqlDBM is a database modeling tool and data warehouse modeling tool in the same space as the ecosystem of data integration solutions. This is a metadata space on the visualization of things for data architects. And yeah, I'm passionate about technical products and specifically how they get in the hands of a customer. And yeah, my whole experience is all about business development, sales, client relations, and I try to stay in that lane, and I like it. I like it a lot. Hopefully, that gives a quick intro of how I got into this. I don't remember where it started originally, my passion for tech, but I know it's here to stay.
Let's talk about the platform altogether to know its core expertise, the framework and methodologies it offers, please.
For SqlDBM, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So there is a big movement right now in the industry towards data clouds or cloud data platforms. They're called different ways. I'm pretty much talking about analytical space in data, and it could be called data warehousing, it could be called data lake housing, data lake, or just cloud data platform altogether. There are really cool solutions right now that take in market by the storm. Particularly, we partner with a company named Snowflake, a company named Databricks. We're partnering with Google Cloud's product, Google BigQuery. Microsoft has a product in that space, and Amazon Web Services as well. It's pretty much this cloud analytics and the data warehousing and data platform space. And yeah, and SqlDBM integrates with those to provide a visualization of conceptual, logical, and physical data models. I don't want to get too into the world of the techie stuff, but I guess on the business side, it's pretty much an online playground that connects to those powerful, very popular cloud data platforms. There's an overall movement for companies of all sizes and shapes and forms and industries. Old school days, everyone had an on-prem version of data warehouse, and now we see the industry more and more moving towards a cloud offering. So when we're supporting mechanism in that part of the modern ecosystem of tooling that data teams are using right now, and that helps paint the picture.
Yeah. You talked about few integrations. Would love to know a bit more on that sense. What all does the platform offers with respect to the integration with the other third-party platforms altogether?
Yeah, for sure. Honestly, in the space of SaaS software vendors, it is one of the big value propositions of why, honestly, in any space, why you would prefer or should prefer a cloud offering, because it can integrate with the rest of your tech stack. And so when it comes to specifically SqlDBM story, the integrations that matter there are integrations with the workflow that target audience, which is for SqlDBM's case, it's serving data engineering teams data architecture teams, and sometimes data governance teams as well. And pretty much honestly, anyone who becomes a consumer of enterprise data models. And when we speak about the target audience and what other solutions they use, they would be using a version of a Git, for example. It would be GitHub, GitLab, or something of that nature, which SqlDBM integrates with. It would be modern solutions from Atlassian, like Jira, for ticketing and workflow management, and Confluence. So as a visual tool ourselves, pretty much the product of SqlDBM's usage would be an interactive visual diagram of metadata landscape, tables underneath a data warehouse. And because it's a visual product itself, extremely visual, it's important to integrate it with other visual tools. And for example, Confluence has been really popularly adopted across companies for just internal communication and knowledge sharing. And so for us to be able to embed our visual part of our product into Confluence Pages lowers the barrier of entry. So it allows for this kind of like network effect in getting SqlDBM tooling into the like company-wide adoption, because then let's say you're a data architect and you're trying to share your work with stakeholders on a business intelligence team, for example, you would want to have an easier, or maybe something that they're already familiar with. So you just embed it onto Confluence, and then the sharing continues. No learning curve is involved for users to learn a new tool. So these are just some of the so we integrate with some of the technical code management platforms like Git repositories. We integrate with this communication tools like Jira and Confluence. Obviously, integrate with the data warehousing platforms. And also right now we're working on, I'm very excited, we're working on Slack and Microsoft Teams integration.
Right.
Again, just to lower the barrier, integrate with the familiar tech stack, and get that communication flowing. I think that's a big benefit of being a cloud offering. You can do so much.
That's true. That's true. All right, let's talk about 3 to 4 main challenges that every team basically faces, and which kind of could be like one of the main reasons why they basically subscribe to your platform altogether. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And what do you think is important to talk about? Do you prefer general, kind of what I see across clients, or is it more interesting to focus on one narrow use case?
Let's do one narrow use case. I think that can add more value.
One narrow. Okay, I can do that. So yeah, let's take a organization XYZ that exists in the world. They're probably big operations, so maybe 1 billion of revenue and up. And so they would be like on the enterprise side, which means they're dealing with really enterprise use case of data and metadata management. Let's say they recently migrated from their on-premise legacy solution for data warehousing, let's say SAP or maybe Netezza or Teradata, and they moved to a cloud data platform, Snowflake Data Cloud, to unleash the customer 360, the analytics, the data sharing. And as part of that journey, they now maybe have been clients of Snowflake for, let's say, 3 years, and they're using it, consuming, adoption is great. And then they realize that the amount of data keeps growing, the data architecture is pretty complex because of how much usage it's getting. And so in that case, what would be helpful for them to have as an artifact for internal team communication is a central repository documentation around their data platform, around their data warehouse and databases involved. And so in that case, they would come to SqlDBM. Yeah, why it's a challenge? Because it's, if you have for a data warehouse, everything is around the objects within it. Usually it could be tables or views. Again, don't want to get too technical, but it's objects in the data warehouse. And then at some point, if your usage is significant, you'll end up with a lot of objects. And so if you need a quick way to, let's say you're on the team and you're building a report and you're like, hey, so what tables do we have in our Snowflake environment? And then no one could tell you. that would be a problem. So that would be a challenge. In that case, for that quick communication, they could come to SqlDBM, fire up an online instance, point to their Snowflake data warehouse, extract the information. We would read the code, pretty much the data definition language that they use, and then we would visualize in 2 seconds all of the tables and relationships between them that they have in their data warehouse. And then they will be able to quickly, let's say, embed it onto Confluence and share with the team. Obviously, it's like the most simple use case where we just read what's already there and then publish it, which is a fantastic use case, don't get me wrong. But it's like just touching the surface of things, because the second step that would come around is, as teams are keep developing and enhancing and editing their data warehouse and tables within it, they need to enhance the underlying data model. They need to constantly make changes, and we need to make sure that those changes are documented somewhere. So in a lot of cases, SqlDBM becomes the primary place where the changes are made visually, then they turn into code, and then they're deployed. That way, that process, that's like the best practice for how companies would use a data modeling tool. So quite a long example. What do you think? Did it cover the challenge?
Yeah, you did. And tell me one more thing. What are the top 3 to 4 platforms, right, that your current users have basically ditched or use it as ditched and then move to your platform? Could be direct or basically have some little bit of overlap with what you do. But if you have to name few, what would be those top 3 to 4 competitors of yours?
Yeah, that's actually a fabulous question. I always stumble with the answer of naming specific vendors. I can for overall context, but I wouldn't say that anyone is a direct competition. Why? And I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. I take it as a good thing. If we're speaking about a cloud-based feature-rich technical implementation for physical modeling, like SQL related items. So basically, if we take a cloud tool that understands that works with SQL and integrates with Snowflake or Databricks or Google BigQuery, then to be honest with you, SqlDBM is the only player that I know. That's like the little overlap of things that we're like the perfect match for. However, I don't want to say that we're the only tool. So there's other really good players in the industry that cover some corners of this space. So for example, if the company is not really an enterprise use case and they're not ready to make an investment into an enterprise data platform, that might be a silly decision to go with SqlDBM. And so they could get along with tools like lightweight tools, Miro, or there's some other online versions of just the tools that just give the collaboration and easy editing and can have templates for data modeling techniques. However, they would be just like whiteboard tools only. They wouldn't really allow for code management programs. They wouldn't allow for data governance. And for example, there wouldn't be things like that are important, like forward and reverse engineering and alter script management. Really, those aspects that take care of revision control of code management, because database design and modeling is very code dependent. But yeah, so there are those tools, like I would call them lightweight, easy to use, just general collaboration tools that could serve a purpose of a lightweight conceptual or logical data modeling tool. And then for some companies, there's just enough. Again, we're happy if they use something. That would be the best practice to at least document something you have. Yeah. And then another use case is there are some traditional, very well-known players in the industry of enterprise data modeling. Those tools would be a tool named Irwin, for example. They were acquired by Quest back in the days. There's also a tool called ER Studio. They were acquired by Idera back in the days. And then there are some other variations. Oracle, for example, has their own tool, Oracle Data Modeler. I believe it's free, and I believe it only supports Oracle. Don't quote me on this, but I know they have a tool. I know SAP has their own tool, SAP Power Designer. And so I used to say what Oracle Data Modeler is to Oracle, SqlDB or what SAP Power Designer is to SAP, SqlDBM is that thing, but for Snowflake, Databricks, and Google BigQuery. So that's the differentiation. So there are other traditional, very well-known players. The problem with them, they don't play that well with the modern cloud data platforms, and they are not cloud themselves. So they're downloadable tools. So we, I guess, bridge the two, the traditional well-known and also the code management physical implementation of data modeling functionality with cloud availability, so sharing, collaboration, and integrations with those big players.
Brilliant. Kudos to your team for having such a unique value proposition altogether.
It is.
Good thing, yeah.
Yeah, it is a unique one. For sure, you're right. And we don't give it enough credit. We don't. But that also narrows the scope, right? So for example, if a client comes to us and says, hey, I need help with, like, for example, yes, we do support Oracle databases, but if a client says, hey, we have some Netezza and Terraform other providers, then we wouldn't be able to help them because those are just not the database and data warehouse types that we have support for. So because we're unique, we only cover this particular segment that we believe is the future. So the big statement of SqlDBM, we believe that the future of data analytics is cloud. And we believe that 100% of organizations will be switching to cloud in the next, I don't know, couple years. Maybe it'll take longer, but eventually it will happen. So we believe the future is with those platforms, and that's why we make a pledge to focus our attention there.
That's good. That's good. All right, let's talk about the customer journey on your platform. Would love to know. Say I'm a enterprise client. I'll land on your website. How's gonna be my journey?
Ooh, that one is a good one. There are multiple options. Just like there are multiple people types and multiple. Did you know the buyer journey? I think there's like a lot of research going about it. That the buyer journey in the modern days have significantly switched. So there are a lot of buyers by the time enterprise B2B SaaS buyers, when they come to speak to you, they've already done major part of their research about your tool, about your offering, about prices, alternatives. They're like already almost ready to buy. I don't know if you notice this when you speak to other industry professionals and leaders and companies. That's what I noticed. That's what I study and pick up from peers. And we see that too. Obviously, there is when you land on the website, there is a way to speak to the sales team or request a demo session, which a lot of clients do. However, before that, there is an option which I think served us really. We do have literally a button on the main homepage that says try modeling. So pretty much try the tool. And if you click that button, there is that's my favorite thing about SqlDBM's client journey. There's no registration. There's nothing. You literally just click that button. It opens up a tools UI as if you were a client, and then you can use the functionality right away. Obviously, if you want to save your project, it will prompt you to save it and we need to create an account for you to save it. But this initial couple of moments of you just interacting and getting the feel and look of the tool is possible right away. And I think that's one of the big things that kind of gives us that speed and agility and allows the customer to do that personal research prior to having to speak to us. So multiple ways there's the like right away demo environment, just try modeling, boom, you're in the tool. There's also an opportunity for them to request a formal trial. We give again as a Another beauty of a cloud solution, you can like a try before you buy situation, especially for us being in such a technical and niche space for our users. It is important we're a tool at the end of the day. Yes, we're a platform, but we're also a tool for a specific purpose. And so for them, it's important to make sure it does what and meets their requirements, because it's a specific workflow they will be building around Snowflake and SqlDBM. So they want to check it, 14 days for that. And then there's an option the regular option, speak to the sales team. We call our people product specialists. Again, if you get and we try to lower all the barriers. If you come to us and say, hey, I want a demo, we're not going to make you jump through hoops. We're going to like right away give you a link to book a 45-minute demo session with product specialists. On that call, we don't just talk about life and weather. We actually go deep into the tool and give you a live step-by-step showcase of how the tool works. And again, I think that's one of the things that helps us get through the sales cycle and onboarding cycle faster, because we know that if a client asks for a demo, I want them to see a demo. Like I don't want them to go through 100 questions of pre-qualifying. Oh, tell us more before we tell you more. So we just do it in a mixed fashion. We have a commercial representative on that call, so your pricing questions and contracting questions can be answered. And there is a solution architect who knows everything about every corner of the tool, and they can literally guide you through how your workflow will look like in SqlDBM.
Sure. Actually, Carol, because you mentioned that even before, without even registering, people can actually try the tool altogether. And a lot of SaaS companies that I see, you must have also stumbled across tons of them. So they have a freemium model, right? And you'll always see like 14 days free trial, 7 days free trial, whatever else, right? And as soon as the user clicks on it, they ask for the email and lots of other details to basically enter and then go and register basically and then try the tool. And that results into a lot of drop in basically people who are registering and trying. And you have totally removed that gap altogether.
Yeah, even the registration, so you can access the tool right away, but even the registration, we only have 2 fields, email and password. So so the form is as short as possible. We wanted to make it shorter. It's not, unfortunately, not possible to create accounts shorter. You can use single sign-on for like a Google account for easy sign-up without even password.
Yeah.
And that helps. Yeah, like you're in the system fast. Obviously, there is a reason, even our premium version, there are some pieces of functionality that are not available. And that's again, I guess it's more about just like part of go-to-market. If you want to just try a brief flavor, you can do it by yourself. But of course, if you're entering an enterprise contracting and purchasing phase, you definitely want to speak to someone, because the tool is very powerful and very feature rich. So we almost prefer you to get some kind of help along the way. So the very enterprise related features, they come as a separate enablement for specific reasons. But so both. But still, if you're ready for team wide, let's say you're hearing saying, hey, I want a trial for 30 people. That's not something you can fire up on your own. But still, you can touch and play with the tool before you even ready to proceed to that stage, if that makes sense.
And any other programs you have in place for your customer retention and to reduce the churn rate altogether?
Yeah, I'd say the best churn avoiding mechanism is making sure you onboard the right clients in the beginning and you don't go too aggressive on selling to just everyone. And I believe we're doing that very deliberately. However, yes, of course, there are sometimes the use case no longer exists. The budget no longer exists. Obviously, I would say if there's no churn, that means I'm not selling enough. But yeah, overall, in terms of programs, the cool thing we have that we've been getting a lot of feedback on is, so when you use a very technical tool and it's a specific niche use case, and and it's a best practice in the industry, but the knowledge about using the tool might not be as available in the industry. That's just a long way of me describing our educational program. So a couple of things we introduced, because we learned that there were some clients that were maybe newer to the world of enterprise data management and new to the world of cloud data architecture and to database design and modeling on the conceptual, logical, and physical uh, level. And they were very happy to see our tool. And they're like, hey, this is something I think would help us, but I don't have experience with working with other tools like this. How do I get started? And so at some point, we saw that the barrier for us to getting more audience on board was actually educating them, not so much on SqlDBM as a platform and tool itself, but more on like data modeling as a topic. And so that's why we introduced SqlDBM Academy, Data Modeling Academy. And we released this a list of pre-recorded self-service demo videos and educational. So there are two courses, one on just fundamentals of data modeling, just a general educational session with information. And second, we released just videos on the tool itself, like step-by-step self-serve demo and demo videos. Gotten really good feedback from the audience on that. So, because not everyone wants to schedule a Zoom time and speak to someone. They're like, I want to learn myself. Where can I go? And so now earlier this year, we released this and have seen significant results and heard a lot of thank yous for that education. And hey, another book, I don't know if you've heard, we actually have our product success lead. He wrote a book on data modeling for Snowflake.
Amazing.
We published the industry-wide piece of content. It's a whole, I have a bookshelf behind me, but I just moved to a new place, so it's empty. But I should have the book here. Yeah, it's called Data Modeling for Snowflake, and it's taken the market. The market has been giving really good feedback on that, and I'm glad and proud that we have time, resources, and internal talent. Writing a book is no easy task, so I'm happy to be working alongside people that are willing and ready and able to share their experience in the form of in such a form as a book. Yeah, it's a cool feeling. I don't know if many companies can say that their team members published the book.
All right. Let's talk about some of the new development that you have ongoing and maybe getting impacted because of all the niche trends going around AI, data governance. What exactly is impacting?
Yeah, the governance is definitely a field we're expanding to. So, and for us, it's again, we're not gonna really replace if someone has an existing data governance cataloging tool we would integrate, and is from being just a database modeling and design tool. We're expanding the use case a little bit around model-driven documentation. So traditionally, data model is and should be part of the data governance strategy. And yeah, we're releasing some functionality around just more extended documentation and the presentation layer. So ability to assign data stewards, ability to provide more information around and description around entities, ability to tag and flag specific objects that need to be regulated, for example. So there's a lot of small pieces and there's a couple of large pieces. One of the large significant ones, we're calling it SqlDBM Pages. And so what that functionality is about is pretty much a open canvas. Think if we integrated Google Docs with SqlDBM, but it's pretty much all SqlDBM native functionality, ability to just write text and share like wiki and share that with the team. So right now you can have your data modeling tool and then descriptions around it, but now right alongside it would be SqlDBM Pages. So you can have your data model embedded onto a page, and then you can provide just text description. You can provide links, so like ability to document more things around it. And pretty much in some cases, I would say it maybe even can replace Confluence for data teams. We'll see. We'll see. I don't want to sound too ambitious, but I'm positive that we'll be able to cover a lot of use cases around collaboration and documentation of metadata assets. And that piece is not really, there's not really code dependent functionality in terms of management of the DDL and SQL. It's really just a visual piece, but it's such a convenient visual piece that, yeah, I see 1,000,005,000,000 use cases of how a company can utilize it.
Okay, I think we're coming to an end here, Anna, and I would like to have a quick rapid fire with you. Are you ready for that?
Always, always.
All right. What was your last Google search?
Ooh, I don't know. Should I check?
Yeah.
Maybe something. I think it was something about a conference that we were going to. I think I Googled something around London because our team is actually flying to London next week.
Okay. All right. What has been your favorite age so far?
My favorite what?
Age.
Oh, my favorite age when I was 17. That was my favorite. I moved to the US when I was 17, and it was kind of life divided between before and after.
Okay. I get that. What is your hidden talent?
Ooh, my hidden talent is, I don't know if I have a hidden one. I would say my hidden talent is improvising on the spot.
Okay.
I have, and again, I don't know how much hidden it is. I've been taking improv classes now for a year. I really love it. It puts you on your feet, and you have to like come up with the interesting or funny situations on the spot. And I do think, not so sure if it's talent. I definitely a skill that I've been working on,
Yeah.
but I'm proud of where I got by now. So if you put me on the stage and say, Hannah, say something, I'm confident I'll be able to pull at least something together.
What never fails to make you laugh?
Oh, what never fails me to make me laugh would probably be some Instagram memes
Okay.
about and probably some memes about like animals doing some funny stuff. Cats and dogs, my favorite videos. If I'm in a bad mood, I just look at animal memes or like bloop videos. They're great.
Thank you so much for sharing all the information about the company, about you. Really enjoyed my session. Thank you for giving the time. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you for the questions and your interest and the space to tell the story.
Thanks.